March 21st, 2024. 50 million people held their breath. They thought they were witnessing the birth of a mobile gaming revolution. Instead, they were about to witness the most spectacular downfall in gaming history. This is the story of how Activision took 50 million dreams, $100 million in development, and the trust of an entire gaming community, and burned it all to the ground in just 14 months. But here's what nobody saw coming. It wasn't incompetence. It wasn't bad luck. It was a perfect storm of corporate ambition, technical incompetence, and complete misunderstanding of what mobile gamers actually want. This is the real story of how Call of Duty Warzone Mobile didn't just fail, it became a cautionary tale for the entire industry. If you love gaming documentaries like these, or you're a fan of games in general, be sure to subscribe and smash that like button. Let's go back to where it all began. March 2022. The mobile gaming world was hungry for the next big thing. codm Mobile had dominated for 5 years, raking in over 650 million downloads and billions in revenue. But Activision saw something bigger, something darker. Project Aurora. That's what they called it internally. The code name for what would become Warzone Mobile. But here's what nobody knew. This wasn't just about creating a new game. According to leaked internal documents, this was about controlled demolition. Activision wanted to kill codm Mobile. Why? Because they didn't own it completely. codm Mobile was developed by Tencent's Teamy Studios. Activision was sharing profits, but with Warzone Mobile, they could cut out the middleman and keep everything. The hype was insane. 50 million pre-registrations in less than 2 years. Gaming influencers were calling it the iPhone moment of mobile gaming. But behind the scenes, something sinister was brewing. The development team was being set up to fail. Here's where the story gets twisted. Activision made a decision that would doom the game from day one. They forced the team to use the full console IW engine, not a mobile optimized version, not a lighter build, the full bloated, resource-hungry engine that powers $70 console games. March 21st, 2024, launch day. What should have been Activision's triumph became their nightmare. The reviews were brutal. Players who had waited 2 years were furious. The game they downloaded was nothing like what was promised in the trailers. Early adopters made it known that performance issues plagued their experience. Those suffering most were using devices on the older end, but still above Activision's minimum recommended specs. Think about that for a second. Devices that met Activision's own minimum requirements couldn't run the game properly. It was a complete failure of quality assurance. Social media exploded. Hashtag Warzone disaster started trending. YouTube was flooded with videos showing the game crashing, freezing, and overheating phones. Even sponsored content creators couldn't hide their disappointment. When people paid to promote your game struggle to say positive things, you know you're in trouble. Activision wasn't completely blind to the disaster unfold. They tried to fix it. Warzone Mobile Android fixes promised after disaster launch. That was the headline. Activision was in full damage control mode. Update after update was released. Graphics downgrades, performance optimizations, bug fixes. But it was like trying to plug holes in a sinking ship with band-aids. The damage was already done. Players were leaving faster than Activision could fix the problems. The initial surge of 50 million downloads turned into a mass exodus. Even worse, the players who stayed weren't spending money. Who wants to buy skins for a game that crashes every 10 minutes? Meanwhile, competitors were capitalizing. PUBG Mobile, Free Fire, even the older Call of Duty Mobile saw player increases as frustrated Warzone Mobile players sought alternatives. Activision had inadvertently created the perfect marketing campaign for their competitors. Every Warzone Mobile crash was an advertisement for a more stable alternative. By late 2024, the writing was on the wall. Despite continuous updates, Warzone Mobile couldn't recover from its disastrous launch. The player base had stabilized, but at a fraction of what Activision needed to justify continued development. The dream of mobile Warzone was becoming a financial nightmare. Behind closed doors, difficult decisions were being made. How long do you support a game that's bleeding money? How many resources do you throw at a project that may never recover? May 16th, 2025. In a late Friday social media post, never a good sign, Activision announced that Call of Duty Warzone Mobile would be delisted in 2 days on iOS and Android, having failed to meet expectations. You won't be able to download the game after May 18, Activision said, with the cold efficiency of a corporate executioner. But players with it installed can still play as Activision winds down support. Translation, we're pulling the plug, but hey, feel free to watch it die slowly on your device. So what went wrong? How does a game with 50 million pre-registrations, 50 million people literally waiting in line to play, fail so spectacularly that it becomes a cautionary tale? This wasn't just failure. This was a masterclass in how to destroy a billion-dollar franchise in record time. First, technical ambition without capability. Activision tried to cram a console elephant into a mobile shoebox. They attempted to port a full console experience without understanding the fundamental truth of mobile gaming. Optimization isn't optional, it's survival. Second, they misunderstood their audience. Mobile gamers don't want your console dreams. They want mobile realities. They want accessibility, lightning-quick matches, and rock-solid stability. They want to jump in during a coffee break, not dedicate their evening to downloading texture packs, not high console-quality graphics that turn their phones into hand warmers and drain their battery faster than a cryptocurrency miner. Activision confused impressive with functional, and mobile gamers made them pay for that arrogance. Third, they fundamentally underestimated the sacred importance of a flawless launch in the unforgiving world of mobile gaming. In mobile, you don't get second chances. You don't get to patch your way to redemption. You get one shot, one moment to capture hearts, minds, and wallets. Warzone Mobile's first impression wasn't, wow, this is amazing. It was, this game will literally crash your phones. In an industry where user attention spans are measured in seconds, not minutes, they delivered an experience that made players delete the app before they could even properly hate it. The financial carnage was nothing short of catastrophic. Industry analysts estimate Warzone Mobile cost well over $100 million to develop and market, a budget that could have funded dozens of successful mobile games, but it generated only a pathetic fraction of that investment in revenue. We're talking about one of the most expensive mobile game disasters in history. Money evaporated faster than players hitting the uninstall button. Shareholders watched their investments disappear into the digital void, while executives scrambled to explain how they turned gold into ash. But perhaps most importantly, Warzone Mobile became the cautionary tale that echoed through boardrooms across the gaming industry. A ghost story told in quarterly reports and strategy meetings. Mobile isn't just console gaming on a smaller screen. It's not a dumping ground for your PC leftovers. It's its own ecosystem with its own rules, its own audience, and its own unforgiving standards. Respect it, or it will destroy you. Meanwhile, Call of Duty Mobile, the very game Warzone Mobile was meant to replace and render obsolete, is still thriving, like a phoenix that never needed to burn. Sometimes the tried and true formula, the one that actually works, beats risky innovation that nobody asked for. Sometimes understanding your audience trumps impressing your investors. Call of Duty Mobile understood mobile gaming from day one. Quick matches, stable performance, and respect for your players' time and devices. For the mobile gaming industry, Warzone Mobile's spectacular failure reinforced a principle written in the blood of failed launches. Understand your platform or die trying. Mobile gaming isn't inferior to console gaming. It's fundamentally different. Different constraints, different expectations, different opportunities. It demands humility, not arrogance, adaptation, not domination. And for the players, gamers proved once again their incredible resilience. They didn't mourn Warzone Mobile's death, they celebrated their escape. They've moved on to games that actually respect their time, their devices, and their intelligence. They've taken their hard-learned lessons and continue to thrive in the mobile gaming landscape, wiser and more selective than ever. In the end, Warzone Mobile didn't just fail, it failed so completely, so publicly, that it became a legend. Not the legend Activision wanted, but the one the industry needed. A reminder that in mobile gaming, hubris is the deadliest enemy of all. Hey guys, I'm thinking of creating a Discord for all gamers to take part in competitions, where there would be cash prizes. If you want that, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe.